Today I'm going to be talking about what started it all for me. The reason I wanted to start speaking about things that meant a lot to me. The reason I wanted to build a brand that I can feel completely in alignment with and have full control over. The reason I made this YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the 6 signs that you are going through a spiritual awakening. And no, you are not crazy. These revelations and signs are in no particular order, but I just wanted to share this with you today off of my personal experience. One of the signs that you might be going through a spiritual awakening is when you start to see the world differently and realize that there is so much more to this life. I feel like I've always kind of had in me this innate feeling that I was just meant to do something great with my life and that mediocrity wasn't an option. I've never been one to like to conform to how other people do things, how other people live their lives, and especially how people make their money. There is this notion that the only way you can be successful financially is if you have a good 9-to-5 job. So that can be taking up a lot of precious time that you don't even want to be giving away in that manner. You don't want to be giving your energy to this type of work. And you don't have to. You start to realize that there is so much more to life than just getting up, going to work, coming home, having dinner, watching TV, going to sleep, and repeating the whole cycle all over again pretty much every day until you retire. And then you get to do whatever you want with your life, with the pension money that you get from working so hard most of your life. That just sounds so backwards. Think of it as you being a caterpillar in a cocoon. When you have these revelations and these strong feelings and these breakthroughs, you start to shed all this skin that you've just had piled on you for years that you never even wanted. The second sign that you might be going through a spiritual awakening is when you move more through your heart than your head. The ego wants to keep you small, right? You don't have enough money. You're not pretty enough. You're not, successful enough. You're too old to do something. The list goes on. The ego will try to keep you small by telling you things to keep you in fear. Versus when you live down here, your body, your heart center, that's when the magic really starts happening. That's when you start to become really aligned with yourself and your true purpose, because you're not listening to all these thoughts in your head that aren't even really true. They're not true. You're listening to your heart, which is your intuition, which is your gut, which is always going to tell you what's right. You actually start to physically feel lighter because you are going through this shedding of the skin, like the caterpillar. It almost makes it so much easier to make decisions. When you make decisions through your heart, things really do feel so much easier. Things feel so much more effortless. You'll notice the difference when you start moving from your head to your heart. This next sign is one that was really, really profound for me. You literally feel like you're becoming a new person, like you're being born again. And like I said, this was something that hit me hard. A little over 2 years ago, I went to this transformational speaking event that completely changed my life, literally. And it was only a 2-day event, but I really felt a part of myself that I've never felt before. And it was unknown territory, and it was strange and weird, but felt really, really good and really right. By the way, if you all don't already know who Kyle Cease is, I'll tag him in the description box below. Check him out, give him a follow. That man literally changed my life and started my breakthrough and my journey of who I have been becoming. So Shout out to Kelsey's. But in regards to the whole being reborn again, that was something that was really kind of scary for me. I met some people from the event who got really, really empowered and uplifted and probably had some breakthroughs themselves. One girl reached out to me and wanted to like meet up with me at a coffee shop to get to know me more. I just remember feeling really, really, really good that day. I was just feeling myself. And when I met up with her, the nerves automatically started to kick in. And the reason for that was because, and I'm not normally like this, like I'm a people person, so I like talking to people, I like meeting people, and so I'm normally like not nervous in those regards, especially in like a casual setting. Kind of almost speechless, like I didn't know what to say, I didn't know how to react, and I was internalizing a lot because I was thinking about how much I've changed for myself for the better and how much I was still changing. I didn't even really know my new self yet. Like I was still discovering that. So when I was meeting someone new, I was in a space of like, well, wait, hold on, because it's kind of like online dating here, right? It's like, well, wait, hold on, like you want to get to know me, but I haven't even got to know myself. I felt so high and alive and inspired by life at this point that I really needed time to digest all that. And so that just ties into the whole being reborn. And the new person I am referring to is your highest self. Another sign that you're going through a spiritual awakening is when you start focusing on self-care. Self-care, self-care, self-care. This was one of the things that I really was neglecting for a long time. It didn't really feel that way until I went through this breakthrough. Because I live in LA, I came out here for acting. I'm an actor, I'm also a singer. I'm a jack of all trades, I'm a performer, right? So, you know, I'm used to being in the spotlight. And so sometimes when you do get yourself involved in that type of field, it can start to, you know, overwhelm you. A lot of things can start to seem a little superficial, especially in a city like LA. And I just wasn't focusing enough on myself and especially my mental health and how I was doing in those regards. Self-care was probably something that I always have done, but wasn't conscious about it, if that makes any sense. I started to become more self-aware. I started to become more conscious. I started literally meditating for an hour every single day. No, not an hour broken up into different parts of the day, an hour straight every single day. And this went on for a while. This went on for about a couple months, and I noticed the changes in myself. I noticed I was happier and calmer and less anxious and wanted to do good and wanted to be a better person for myself and other people. And it was just something that those were just thoughts that I didn't really have much in my mind because I was so focused about being out here in LA and focusing on my career and all the hustle that goes on that you have to do out here to attain that. I would start to meditate. I started doing yoga. I started, being mindful about the different content that I watched online. I only did things that felt good to my soul and not because everyone else was doing it and because it was just like the thing to do. Another sign is when you really start to become mindful about everything around you. There are pros about having a spiritual awakening, but there are also cons. So when you literally become mindful about every little thing that is said to you, every little thing that you feel, every little thing that you do, consciousness is a good thing. It is good to be mindful. It is good to be self-aware. It is good to be conscious. But When you are going through a spiritual awakening, you literally take everything in, all the information so deeply and sometimes so personal that it can affect you in a way that you might not want it to. And so basically what I'm saying is that you tend to become more sensitive. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is a misconception. There is nothing wrong with sensitivity. There is nothing wrong with someone being emotional. That is just their state of being. That is how they're feeling in the moment. And so there is nothing wrong with that. Again, it is a blessing and a curse at the same time, because sometimes when you are so intuitive to every little thing and you are sensitive to a lot of things, it can kind of be hard to have that balance. The last sign that I have realized throughout my personal experience of when you are going through a spiritual awakening is that you want to start helping people. You want to start helping people become their best selves because you've gone through it, and you want to like really open up people to a whole new world, a whole new dimension that they've never gone to. You really want to open up people to their highest selves, and you want to make people feel good because it makes you feel good, and because you've gone through the experience and you know what it's like and how powerful self-care and self-improvement is. The fine line with this though is that you don't want to come across as pushy or convincing or a nag. You don't want to like you want to be a light, and so that shouldn't come across as you should be living the life that I'm living because I know what it's like and it's the healthiest way to live, and you are missing out on so much in this life because you're so close-minded. No. It's hard because, you know, when I went through my awakening, I wanted to tell everybody, and I did, okay, but that was mostly because I was excited, not because I wanted to convert people. But I do remember, you know, when eventually I found out that there was going to be another Kyle Cease speaking event, and I wanted to go to that. And I bought myself a ticket, and I bought an extra ticket because I wanted to bring my mom. And I kept, you know, asking her, like, do you want to go? When do you want to come? Like, it's your ticket. And there was something in her that was just like, don't want to go. She just seemed like really, really on the fence about it. And so, you know, I'm not gonna push someone to do something that they're unsure about or that makes them uncomfortable. I will be a guiding light, and I will, you know, give my wisdom on my experience. And then if they want to fall into it as well, or, you know, they want to ask more questions because they're curious and actually interested, then that's great. Then that's the path for them. Then that's what they want to be doing. But you should never force people to do something that they just don't want to do, especially if they constantly like reject it. So those were the 6 signs that I personally went through when I had an awakening in my life. And honestly, all of them are true and on point to how I experienced them. Not everybody is going to go through the experiences. Even if you start to experience 1 or 2 of these, those could be signs that you are going through a spiritual awakening, especially if it's so constant, especially if it's something that you literally are feeling and thinking about every single day, then that should be telling you something. If it was, you know, an event you went to that started it, or a class, or a video you watched, or just being around a group of people, it can literally happen in all shapes or forms. This isn't something that, you know, is very subtle or nonchalant. This is profound stuff, and when you feel a whole shift in your being, you're gonna know, and you're gonna start asking questions, and you're gonna start doing research, and you're gonna start working towards your happiest, healthiest being that you've ever been. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I also really, really hope that it helped you. If you want to start a conversation below or have any questions about what I talked about in this video today, please drop me something below. and subscribe so you can get quicker updates on my videos. And if you're feeling really inspired by this video, go ahead and share it and spread the love. Until next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.